Do you ever do something and it doesn't seem like a big deal? And then you step back and you look at it and you realize how crazy it is? Yeah, that's me today. Hey guys, we're back with another one, and today we are going to be doing yet another book haul. It's been quite a while since I've done one of these, and I want to preface this by saying just a personal thing about me is that I do not believe in book buying bans. I think there are way more unhealthy things you can be buying with your money, but I also am the kind of person where I'm like, if it makes you happy and it's not bad for you or your health or your family, like, do you, boo. Like, if it brings you joy, go for it. And buying books and collecting books and reading books, which are two separate hobbies, buying books and reading books, bring me joy. They make me happy. And I actually don't plan on going on a book hauling ban after this. I'm going to buy more because it's what makes me happy. It's my hobby. Everyone has one, you know. Some people shop for shoes, some people fish, some people play soccer, some people do a whole lot of things. And I buy books and I read books and I'm okay with it. So just because I'm doing a haul, I'm not going to do this whole like, oh my God, I feel so bad about what I bought and I'm going to go on a book buying ban. That's not for me. I don't believe in them. This is something that brings me joy. So let's take a look at the books that I've accumulated over the past couple of months. And I'm going to explain to you the deals that I got, the reasons why I bought them, and tell you if I got any of them on sale. So let's talk about it. So the first little haul that we're going to do is from Target because I only went once. I honestly don't really shop at Target. I try not to shop at Target, but I happened to be in there for something that I specifically needed to go there for. And while I was there, I grabbed just a couple of things. So here's my Target bag. So these are the books that I got. I picked up, I didn't even remember I bought this. Okay. So the first book I picked up was Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. Much like many of Target's books, what they do is they say they're like 20% off of retail price, and then I save another 5%. Then I save another 5% because I'm a Target Red Card member. So this is the Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. I have no idea what it's about, but it says one woman is going to have to learn how to give love a chance when she's used to suspecting the worst in this fresh romantic comedy. So little rom-com, I don't know. But then I also saw when I was looking at that book that she literally just released, I think I bought this on the day that it released, With Love from Cold World by Alicia Thompson. This is her brand new release. And I always do this. This is why I sometimes don't like deviating from where I normally shop, because I actually bought this from Target, and then one of the other times when I went in Barnes & Noble, I realized there was like a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I kind of wish I had gotten that one, but just so you know, this is not the exclusive, but there is a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I think, I'm going to go ahead and post it here. I think it has a pink cover instead of the blue cover. So if you like that one better, keep it in mind. But With Love from Cold World, it says, hot days and even hotter nights. She has a to-do list a mile long and falling for her coworker isn't on it, yet somehow he's become her top priority. So I think another rom-com. So pick that up. And then last but not least, I have actually been looking at this book for a while and kind of like debating whether or not I should buy it. And there's something about this that boils my blood. I literally hate it. And I wish I could have found a version that didn't have it, but I couldn't. So I actually picked up American Royals. This is the first book in the series by Catherine McGee. There's a couple of these. I'm not sure how many. I want to say like 3 or 4, but I'm not sure. I know there's like one that's called like American Majesty. I don't know if it says in here. Okay, yeah, there's 3. American Royals 2, and American Royals 2 Majesty, and American Royals 3 Rivals. That's where I got it. This is a What If America Had a Royal Family? So it's about like the British royal family, except if we had one of those in America. However, can you guys pick out what I hate about this book? Because there's this 20% off sticker, which you can fully remove. And then there's this. That is a permanent sticker that says $6.99 limited time only. How in God's name could this be limited time only if it is permanently affixed to the book. That is printed in the cover. If they ran an entire like print series, it's not limited time only. This book has probably been on the shelves for months saying $6.99 limited time only. I know no one of significance in the publishing world or in the even like the author space is watching this, but if you ever do, please stop doing this. Permanent stickers are the bane of my existence. I hate them. And it literally kept me from buying this book forever. I hate it, but it was 20% off of $6.99, so I finally gave in and bought it because I have been kind of intrigued by this book. But it is YA, and I hate this so much. Stop doing this. Okay, that was everything we got from Target. Now let's move on to what I got actually from a new store. So like I've said several times in my videos, I am from Connecticut. And here in Connecticut, I think there's only like 2 Booksamillions. We don't have a ton of them. And I got an email because I still did sign up for like their free member program. I got an email that there was a sale going on at Booksamillion, and I also heard from people that they have a really good like bargain section. So my family is actually from across the state, and they happen to be from the area of the state where there's a Booksamillion within like 15 minutes of their house. So when I went to visit one time, I remembered that, and I go, you know what? Since I'm here, let's drive the 15 minutes to Booksamillion. I never, ever get to go here because we don't have one anywhere near me. It's an hour and a half away. So I went over there and did some serious damage. So let's talk about what I bought from Booksamillion. So the first book I got was Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I've seen this everywhere, and once again, this is also the first book in a series, but it says, a world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all those things and has even conquered death. Now, scythes are the only ones who can end life, and they are commanded to do so in order to keep the size of the population under control. Citra and Rowan are chosen to apprentice to a scythe, a role that neither wants. These teens must master the art of taking life, knowing that the consequence of failure could mean losing their own. They learn living in a perfect world comes only with a heavy price. So I guess they're going to learn how to take other people's lives. That actually sounds more gothic than I thought it did. I don't know about that, but like maybe like dystopian, something like that. And this did win the Pulitzer Prize or a Pulitzer honor, so I think it was like a runner-up. So I grabbed that. The next book I bought was Dark Succession by Katie Robert. Katie Robert is the author who wrote like the Neon God series. She does a lot of like Greek mythology series, but this is her newer series, which says Teague O'Malley hates everything associated with his family's name, and when his father orders him to marry Callista Sheridan to create a business alliance, Teague's ready to cut ties once and for all. But then Teague actually meets Callista, sees the bruises on her neck and the trauma in her eyes, and vows he will do everything in his power to avenge her. So it sounds like this is like forced like marriage of convenience families. Maybe is there like mafia something going on? It says like it's a business deal, so some sort of family business, forced arranged marriage, something like that. So I'm looking forward to that. Her books are spicy, so I think there will be some good spice in this. The next book I picked up, this is so random. This is Jezebel by Megan Barnard. I literally stumbled upon this book. It was like a suggested to you in my Amazon list or something like that. I know literally nothing about it, but I happened to walk in. I thought the colors on the cover were really, really cool. And I happened to walk into Booksamillion, and it was like right on the front shelves, and I just thought like, oh, I remember that from my Amazon suggested list, so I grabbed it, but I know nothing about it. It says, a stunning reimagining of the story of a fierce princess from Tyre and her infamous legacy. Jezebel was born into the world howling. She intends to leave it the same way. When Jezebel learns she can't be a king like her father simply because she's a girl, she vows never to become someone's decorative wife, nameless and lost to history. Married off at 15 to Prince Ahab of Israel, she does what she must to gain power and remake the distant kingdom in the image of her beloved, prosperous homeland of Tyre. Tyre? Beginning by building temples to the gods who she grew up worshipping, she ushers Israel into a new era of prosperity. Her subjects love her, and her name and those of her gods ring through the land. until Elijah, the prophet of Yahweh, and her former lover begins to speak out against her, calling her a slut, harlot, witch. Her people turn on her. And then it goes back from there. So I have no idea what it's about, but it popped up on my Amazon. Then I walked right into Booksamillion, and it was right there on that front table, and it was on sale. So I said, I'm going to grab it. Amazon thinks I'd like it. That's good enough for me. Okay, next I grabbed The Heart of Betrayal by Mary Pearson. This is the same author who did the Vow of Thieves and the Dance of Thieves series. And this was her first series, I believe. It was the Remnant Chronicles series. The first book is The Kiss of Deception. I actually have it back here. And this series is not sold in Barnes & Noble. So I was really excited when I saw it in Booksamillion. And this is kind of why I like to vary up where I'm shopping for books. Because there are things that Barnes & Noble doesn't carry. There are things that Target don't carry. There are things that Booksamillion doesn't carry, and things like that I like to kind of make my way around, because you find really cool authors and series that you wouldn't necessarily find anywhere else. So this is book 2 in the Remnant Chronicles, The Heart of Betrayal. I'm not going to read the back of this one because I don't know if there's any spoilers for the first one, but like I said, the first one is called The Kiss of Deception. You can go on and read the spoiler on Amazon or Booksamillion or Barnes & Noble. So okay, the next book I got, oh, this is cool. Ugh, this has another permanent sticker on it. I just realized that. But this is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. This is book 1 in the Blood of Stars series. Elizabeth Lim is the author of the 6 Crimson Crane series, and she wrote A Dragon's Promise. And then I think the third one is her Radiant Curse. I think that comes out at the end of August. I've heard from people that this is I believe it's her more YA series that she did prior to 6 Crimson Cranes, and I've heard it's really, really good. So I grabbed it, but it also has a permanent sticker. It says, A Girl in Disguise, 3 Legendary Dresses, the Competition of a Lifetime. Maya Tamarin dreams of becoming the greatest dressmaker in the land, and when a royal messenger summons her father to court, she sees her opportunity. Once a tailor of great renown, her father is too infirm to travel, so Maya poses as his son and travels to the palace in his place, joining 11 other tailors in a competition to become the imperial tailor. She knows her life is forfeit if her secret is discovered. As a woman, she'd never be allowed to compete, but she'll take that risk to save her family from ruin and follow her dream. So, competition, dressmaker. I actually own 6 Crimson Cranes and A Dragon Promise in the Fairy Loot editions. I haven't read them yet, but I've heard her writing is really beautiful and poetic, so I wanted to grab what I believe is her more YA forte. So this is the first book in the Blood of Stars series by Elizabeth Lim. So the next book I got, this is actually a book that I saw on Miss Olivia Reads a Latte's channel. She read this. I think she got it from the library because she's been trying to get a lot of more books from the library now. But this is You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kayla Bayron. I do not admittedly read a lot of horror, but I basically have been trying to expand my genres. And this, I believe, is a YA horror, but more importantly, this is a horror book that Miss Olivia said is set at a summer camp. And I really, 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 if I'm going to read a horror, for some reason, for me, horror set at summer camps are I can do that. Chef's kiss. So this is about, it says, at Camp Mirror Lake, terror is the name of the game, but can you survive the night? So little summertime camp horror. Okay. All right, here we go. So now we're going to get into some of the books that I actually found on the bargain shelves. Booksamillion's bargain shelves are so good. There were literally new releases sitting on these shelves. I was so shocked. So the first book I found was Falling by TJ Newman. This was on the bargain shelf for $8, which is really cool. Plus, I think I get an additional 10% off with my membership, I think. I don't really know, but TJ Newman, I mean, it's a little damaged. I don't know if you could see it, but whatever. It's not a collector's edition, so it's fine. I'm going to be honest with you, when I'm reading hardcovers, I take these dust jackets off anyways, so even mine sometimes get a little damaged. It doesn't really bother me. But this girl, TJ Newman, this author, was a flight attendant. So all of her books that she's written so far, there's this one, and then her new release is called Drowning, I believe. I have it over there, but all of her books are about catastrophes on planes and stuff like that. So it says, I'm not going to crash this plane, and you're not going to kill my family. You just boarded a flight to New York. There are 143 other passengers on board. What you don't know is that 30 minutes before the flight, your pilot's family was kidnapped. For his family to live, everyone on your plane must die. The only way the family will survive is if the pilot follows his orders and crashes the plane. Enjoy the flight. As someone who travels the whole world, her entire life, goes everywhere, but is not a great flyer, I probably shouldn't be reading this, but I will. So, Falling by TJ Newman. These are all falling over. Okay, the next book I got is The Younger Wife by Sally Hepworth. I recently was introduced to Sally Hepworth when one of her books was the Book of the Month special. I don't do that one because I like getting the Barnes & Noble editions, but I was actually looking at the monthly selections from Book of the Month, which, if you're watching and you want to sponsor me, send me over one of them codes, BOTM. Just kidding. But really, I'm really not, but I am. And one of her new books called The Soulmate was a featured book for Book of the Month. I did go to Barnes & Noble and pick it up. Just because I'm like still trying to figure out like how Book of the Month works. I know you can add like supplemental books, but like I haven't been able to figure it out yet. I do want to subscribe, so I will, but this book by her caught my eye because I realized it was by the same author that wrote The Soulmate. Wow, that was interesting. But this is called The Younger Wife, and it says, let's see, it's a tale of domestic suspense about the tangled vines of family secrets. The husband, the daughters, the formal wife, and the younger wife. So I think the ex-husband, or like the father of the kids, gets married after divorce, and something's wrong with his wife, who happens to be younger. So, little thriller. Okay. Oh, okay. The next book I got was by Miss Ellen Hildebrand, The Summer of '69. I'm starting to collect Ellen Hildebrand's books. I do have them kind of as like a modge podge of mixed media. Some of them are soft cover, some of them are hardcover. But I wanted to pick this up because this was on there for $5. $5. That just seemed like such a good deal for a hardcover Ellen Hildebrand. So I picked this one up. I don't know much about it, but it says, welcome to the most tumultuous summer of the 20th century. It's 1969, and for the Levine family, the times they are a-changing. Every year, the children have looked forward to spending the summer at their grandmother's historic town in downtown Nantucket, but like so much else in America, this year isn't the same. So it sounds like the summer is different because the kids are all growing up and they're doing different things, and I think they're all going to come together in Nantucket for the summer of 1969. Like I said, I'm not super experienced with Ellen Hildebrand, but I really do love her stuff, especially in the summer, and for a hardcover Ellen Hildebrand for $5, it seemed like a really good deal. So. And on that note, look what else I found. This is actually a series that was suggested by Destiny. She said she really liked this one by Ellen Hildebrand. This is the Paradise trilogy by her, and it is book 1, Winter in Paradise, book 2, What Happens in Paradise, and book 3, The Troubles in Paradise. And this entire set was on the bargain shelf for $16.97 for all 3 books. And Destiny actually said, how do you get these out of here? That she read this and loved it. How the heck do you get these out? There you go. I was like, what? That she actually read the series and loved it. And I had found the books individually some places, but I was having trouble finding them all together in the same softcover. So this is Winter in Paradise, book 1. What Happens in Paradise, book 2. And Troubles in Paradise, book 3. All in the softcover. And I'm not going to read all of them, but I believe, if I'm thinking about this correctly, the main character of book 1 like lives this like idyllic life, has this husband and I believe like 2 children, and I think her husband dies tragically in a plane crash in, what island is it? St. John. And then she finds out through like making his arrangements that he was living a double life, and like their life wasn't as she thought it was, and things weren't as they seemed. So I wanted to grab the entire series, and I'd been looking for it, and when I saw it on the bargain bin at booksamillion, I said, that is coming home with me. So I got those 3. And then last but not least, I got The Spitehouse by Johnny Compton. This was another book I saw on Olivia Reads a Latte's channel. I think these were all in her like Summeroween, what does she call it? something like that, where she reads horror books for a week during the summer. What is it called? Summerween? Summerween. Yeah, Summerween. So this is the Spitehouse. This was on the bargain shelf for $7.97, and I believe it's about a father and a daughter who go to live in a house that they find out is haunted. So excited to read that. Okay, so those were all the books that I got at Books-A-Million. It was a really good experience, but honestly, I still think I'm a Barnes & Noble girl. And that might be just because I'm more comfortable. I kind of know where their stores, how their stores are set up, where things are. But just in general, I love the Barnes & Noble exclusive editions. I just think they have a better selection. If Barnes & Noble were to put in a bargain section like Books-A-Million, it would be the perfect bookstore in my opinion. So I just think they're lacking there. But so then we will finish out this haul with my purchases at Barnes & Noble, which are crazy. I went a little crazy. So here is where we get into the meat of the haul. So the first book I bought at Barnes & Noble was Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAllister. This is the author of Wrong Place, Wrong Time. She does mystery thrillers. It says, his weapon isn't a gun or a knife. It's a secret, her worst one. So I don't know what it's about, but I picked it up. Let's see. A missing person case unravels deeper, darker secrets that hit too close to home and can only lead to more danger for the detective and an impossible moral choice. What will she do? There's a man out there. His weapon isn't a gun or a knife. It's a secret. So, pick that up. Sounds good. Okay, then I actually saw this book, and the first thing that caught my eye about this book was the cover. I just think the cover is so vintage looking and cool. It has that old video cassette, that like ripped video cassette, and it just sounds really good. It's called Dead 11 by Jimmy Giuliano. I've never heard of this author. I've never read anything by him, but it says, chillingly creepy, you've been warned, and it was blurbed by R.L. Stine. How cool is that? I used to love R.L. Stine, so I was really intrigued if R.L. Stine like vouches for this guy, right? So it says, on a creepy island where everyone has a strange obsession with the year 1994, a newcomer arrives hoping to learn the truth about her son's death. I believe, from what I understand about this book, the main character's son, I believe, commits suicide, and she finds a note, I think, like next to his body that says, like, Clifford Island, and when she gets there, it's like this strange island where everyone is obsessed with the year 1994, and she doesn't know why, and I think you kind of delve into that, and, like, why would her son know about this island? How is her son connected to this island? Is it connected to his death? So I'm excited to get into that. I'm realizing now that as the summer kind of, like, ends, I'm finding myself buying more like horror thriller mysteries because fall time to me is spooky season. So the next book I picked up was Sherry Lapina's Everyone Here is Lying. I have never read Sherry Lapina before, but from what I understand, she is like the thriller mystery queen. Apparently she's a super well-known thriller mystery author, and I've never read anything by her. Mystery thrillers aren't always like my most read genres. I do love them, but I'm not like an expert on them, so I'm excited. If I like this book, I might get more into hers because this is her new release, so I could read her backlog. And this one is blurbed by Lisa Jewell, who I have a couple of books by, and she says it's great, so I know nothing about this book. It just says, welcome to Stanhope, a safe neighborhood, a place for families. Nothing will prepare you for the truth. On the surface, William Wooler is a family man, but he's been having an affair that ended horribly this afternoon at the motel up the road. When he returns to his house, devastated and angry to find his difficult 9-year-old daughter Avery unexpectedly home from school, William loses his temper. Hours later, Avery's family declares her missing. The 9-year-old girl? Suddenly, Stanhope doesn't feel so safe, and William isn't the only one on the street who's hiding a lie. As witnesses come forward with information that may or may not be true, his neighbors become increasingly unhinged. Who took Avery Wooler? Oh no, a 9-year-old goes missing? Everyone here is lying. That sounds kind of traumatic. So that sounds good though. And then this book. This is called, I have no idea what this book is called. Is it Kayla? Is it Kayla? K-A-L-A? Kayla? Kayla? Comment below if you know what this book is called. Like, can you type out the pronunciation for me so that I know what the heck this book is called? Because I don't. I just grabbed this simply because of the cover. It was on the new releases shelf, and I thought it looked really cool. It says Kayla by Colin Walsh. And it says, in the seaside town of Kinlow on Ireland's west coast, three old friends are thrown together for the first time in years. They, Helen, Joe, and Mush, were part of an original group of 6 inseparable teenagers in the summer of 2003 with motherless, reckless Kayla Lannon as their group's white-hot center. Soon after the summer's peak, Kayla disappeared without a trace. Now it's 15 years later, Helen has reluctantly returned to the island for her father's wedding. Joe is a world-famous musician, newly back in town, and Mush has never left, too scared to venture beyond the counter of his mother's cafe. But human remains have been discovered in the woods. 2 more girls have gone missing. Told through tautly intertwined, alternating narratives of past and present, this riveting debut tracks the estranged friends as they are forced to confront their own complicity in the events that led to Kayla's disappearance. So Kayla goes missing, apparently. Who knew? Okay. The next book I got was A Million Junes by none other than Miss Emily Henry. Am I the only one who's never heard of this? Apparently, Emily Henry, I don't even know what year this book was written. This was her, let's see, 2017. So this is her backlog, and this is a YA, like, sad romance, I think. I don't know. I just happened to walk by this on the shelf, and I was like, Emily Henry? And I looked, and it's the same Emily Henry as Book Lovers, Beach Read, Happy Place, Unhoneymooners. Like, it is the Emily Henry. And this was her first series. I think this actually is, it's either the second book in a series, but from what I understand, it's like interconnected standalone. I don't believe you need to read them all in order. The first one is called The Love That Split the World. So I think it's like interconnected worlds, but you don't have to read them together. So this one is the one that sounded kind of interesting to me. It says, for long as Jack June O'Donnell. If your name is Jack, why would you be called June? A million Junes, whatever. For as long as Jack June O'Donnell has been alive, her parents have had only one rule: stay away from the Angert family. But when June collides quite literally with Saul Angert, sparks fly, and everything June has always known is thrown into chaos. Like a little bit of forbidden family, like forbidden love, family conflict type thing. So I just liked it because it was Emily Henry, full disclosure. Okay. So this is where we're going to start getting into the real reason why I kind of went crazy at Barnes & Noble. So right now, Barnes & Noble, and it's currently going on now, it goes on until September 4th, I think. Right now, Barnes & Noble is having a 50% off of select hardcover books. Not all hardcovers, just select. So I did grab a bunch of books that I've kind of been wanting. And honestly, usually if I have to choose between hardcover and paperback, it's a hard decision for me, because I am actually a reader that prefers the hardcover. I kind of, like, I just like the heavier, more like meaty book, if that makes sense. But I do acknowledge that paperbacks are much more cost efficient. They're actually easier to store because they're smaller. And sometimes I will acknowledge that paperbacks are easier to travel with. But for me, I don't really find that as convincing because I travel with my Kindle. But when there is a good hardcover sale, it ends up making the hardcover books the same price as the paperbacks, so you might as well just grab it. So this book, The Angel Maker by Alex North, is his newer release, and it was 50% off in the hardcover sale. Alex North is the writer of The Whisper Man, which I have on my shelves, and I've heard it's really, really good. So I wanted to grab this. He writes a lot of like serial killer books. So this one says, a suspenseful new thriller about the mysteries of fate, the unbreakable bond of siblings, and a notorious serial killer who was said to know the future. English countryside. So in the English countryside. So I picked up Alex North's new book, The Angel Maker, 50% off at Barnes & Noble. And like I said, this book retails for $28.99. So that was like $14.50. So most paperbacks these days are like $17, $18 anyways. So this was actually cheaper than buying the paperback. And by the way, you also have to wait like 6 months, because all books pretty much release in hardcovers, and you have to wait like 6 months for them to come out in paperback. So I picked it up now for $14.50. Okay, this book was not 50% off, but I just really, really wanted it. This is a new release by Allie Carter called The Blonde Identity. It's, first of all, it's really, really little, which I love. How many pages is this? I think it's like under 300 pages. Yeah, like 290 something. I love that. Sometimes when you get off of reading, you know, like big girthy books that are like 500-600 pages, to just dive into a little 300-page book is like a breath of fresh air. So I grabbed this, and let's see what it says. It says, road trip rom-com about a woman with amnesia who discovers she's the identical twin sister of a rogue spy and must team up with a rugged, grumpy operative to stay alive. So, identical twin, one has amnesia, but is a spy. I don't know, but it sounds really cute, so I grabbed the Blonde Identity. Okay, the next book I got was Jessica Ward's The St. Ambrose School for Girls. I was drawn to this book because it is an all-girls boarding school book. I did go to all-girls boarding school, so I immediately was like, what? I need to get it. Anything that's set at like a boarding school, I'm gonna love. So I think it is a murder mystery. It says, Mean Girls meets We Were Liars. So let's see. And then it says Heathers meets The Secret History, in this thrilling coming-of-age novel set in a boarding school where the secrets are devastating and deadly. It says, when Sarah Taylor arrives at the exclusive St. Ambrose School, St. Ambrose School, she's carrying more baggage than just what fits in her suitcase. She knows she's not like the other girls. If her shabby, all-black, non-designer clothes don't give that away, the bottle of lithium hidden in her desk drawer surely does. And then I think she meets like the queen bee of some like popular group, and I'm pretty sure they like give her problems. I don't know. But it's set at an all girls boarding school, so I'm gonna like it. And that was not 50% off. This also was not 50% off, but I've been eyeing it for a long time and I just really wanted it. This is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, but this is the 10th anniversary edition of it. And I automatically saw that and I was like, yep, that's happening. Absolutely happening. So this is by the same author as The Priory of the Orange Tree and The Day of Fallen Night. So I do really love her writing. I know not anything about this book, but look at how beautiful this book is. And then I think, oh, maybe not. I thought there was something on the inside, but I guess not. But this is the 10th anniversary edition. And it says, let's see. A lavishly reimagined 10th anniversary edition of the first novel in the sensational Bone Season series. Oh, so it's a series. Fully revised with new material. Okay. Welcome to Scion, no safer place. The year is 2059. For 2 centuries, the Republic of Scion has led an oppressive campaign against unnaturalness in Europe. In London, Paige Mahoney holds a high rank in the criminal underworld. The right hand of the ruthless white binder, Paige is a dreamwalker, a rare and formidable kind of clairvoyant. Under Scion law, she commits treason simply by breathing. When Paige is arrested for murder, she meets the mysterious founders of Scion, who have designs on her uncommon abilities. If she is to survive and escape, Paige must use every skill at her disposal and put her trust in someone that ought to be her enemy. Interesting, but I picked it up mostly because this is beautiful and it's the 10th anniversary edition. I've heard it's really great and I really enjoy Samantha Shannon's writing, so I wanted to have this version. Beautiful. Okay. This next one, I did get $5 off. This is a brand new release. It actually released the day that I went into Barnes & Noble. And I grabbed it because I was drawn to the cover. And then I read it. And it's a Cinderella retelling about what if the whole Cinderella story where she goes to the ball and then the prince falls, like she loses her shoe and the prince falls in love with her and all this stuff, the happily ever after. What if that's not what happened? What if it was a setup the whole time? What if Cinderella and her evil stepsisters were setting up her stepmom? I just thought that was like a really cool retelling. So I wanted to grab it. It was $5 off because it was a new release. So The Liar Lady by D.L. Soria. And it's a retelling if Cinderella set up her stepsisters. Okay, this was a part of the 50% off sale for hardcovers, and I'm really excited because I do not read a ton of nonfiction. It's just not really my cup of tea. I just don't like it. Reading is an escape for me. It's an escapism. It's a way for me to decompress, and I don't always want to read about somebody else's life while I'm trying to escape into like a fantasy world. But I will make an exception for Mr. Tom Felton, aka Mr. Draco Malfoy. I will make an exception for him because I am a Harry Potter fanatic. I love Harry Potter, everything Harry Potter. It has its own special area. I have Harry Potter stuff all throughout my house. I go to Harry Potter Land every single year. I went 3 times last year. I love Harry Potter, so I'm like, if I'm going to read a nonfiction, I'm going to read about Draco and Tom Felton's experience playing Draco. It says, the magic and mayhem of growing up a wizard beyond the wand. It was 50% off, which made it, let's see, how much was this? $14. So I was like, you know what? Yes. So I want to read what it was like to be Draco. Not my favorite character. Think he's very misunderstood. Feel very bad for Draco. Not my favorite character though, but I would love to read about what it was like playing him. Okay, this was also part of the 50% off hardcover sale. This is The Kind Worth Saving. This is the second book in the Kind Worth Killing little duology by Peter Swanson. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I have not read the other one, so I'm not going to read this. But you can go and read the blurb and like the summary and the synopsis of The Kind Worth Killing if you want to know what happens in this series. I have it somewhere back there. It's back there somewhere. Okay. Also in the 50% off sale, I grabbed The Daughters of Izdihar by Hadir Elsbai. This is a beautiful cover, by the way. This was 50% off, and it says, oh, it's her debut novel. Comes the first book in an incredibly powerful new duology set wholly in a new world, but inspired by modern Egyptian history about 2 young women, Nahal, a spoiled aristocrat, used to getting what she wants, and Georgina, a poor bookshop worker used to having nothing, who find they have far more in common, particularly in their struggle for the rights of women and their ability to fight for it with forbidden elemental magic in Egypt. So, that sounds really good. Pick that up 50% off. So that would make it what? How much is this book? $28.99. So these are like all running in like the $14, $14.50 range because they're going to be 50% off. 1 book, 1 bag down. 1, 2, 3 to go. I told you I went a little crazy. Okay, so this is actually funny. Where is the rest of it? I might have to wait because this is not in order. We'll wait. Okay. We will wait for that as well. All right, the next book is Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin. I hadn't heard about this book. I just grabbed it solely for the cover and because it was on the new releases section, but this book actually just made the New York Times bestseller list, and I think, no, it's not. She wrote The Nature of Witches, but it just made the New York Times bestseller list, and I'm hearing it's excellently written and very, very good. So this like kind of moved up a couple of spots on my TBR because I'm like, oh, a beautiful cover, on the New York Times bestseller list, and it says prepare to be bewitched. Stephanie Garber. If Stephanie Garber loved this book, I'm going to have to read it. I know nothing about it. If you haven't realized this yet, I like to go into books pretty blind. I don't like knowing a ton about them because I just kind of like going along with it. I don't want to know what the whole story is before I read it, or else what's the point of reading it? So whatever. It says, Tana Fairchild's fate has never been in question. Her life has been planned out since the moment she was born. She is to marry the governor's son, Landon, and secure an unprecedented alliance between the witches of her island home and the mainlanders who see her very existence as a threat. Tana's coven, oh, so she's a witch. Tana's coven has appeased those who fear their power for years by releasing most of their magic into the ocean during the full moon. But when Tana misses the midnight ritual, a fatal mistake, there is no one she can turn to for help until she meets Wolfie. Wolfie claims he is from a coven that practices dark magic, making him one of the only people who can help her. But he refuses to let Tana's power rush into the sea and instead teaches her his forbidden magic, a magic that makes her feel powerful and alive. As the sea grows more violent, her coven loses control of the currents, a danger that could destroy the alliance as well as her island. Tana will have to choose between love and duty, between loyalty to her people and loyalty to her heart. Marrying Landon would secure peace for her coven, but losing Wolfie and his wild magic could cost her everything else. Sounds really good. So, the next book I grabbed was All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. What did Adeline Grace write? What have I read by Adeline Grace? Why does that sound so familiar? Belladonna? Did Adeline Grace write Belladonna? I feel like she did. correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Adeline Grace is the writer of Belladonna. Anyways, All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. It says, she will reign as princess of the island kingdom Visidia. Amora Montara has spent her entire life training to be High Animancer, the master of souls. The rest of the realm can choose their magic, but for Amora, it's never been a choice. To secure her place as heir to the throne, she must prove her mastery of the monarchy's dangerous soul magic. When her demonstration goes awry, Amora is forced to flee. She strikes a deal with Bastian, a mysterious pirate. He'll help her prove she's fit to rule if she'll help him reclaim his stolen magic. But sailing the kingdom holds more wonder and more peril than Amora anticipated. A destructive new magic is on the rise, and if Amora is to conquer it, she'll need to face legendary monsters, cross paths with vengeful mermaids, and deal with a stowaway she never expected, or risk the fate of Visidia and lose the crown forever. It says, I am the right choice, the only choice, and I will protect my kingdom. Little mermaid vibe there. Adeline Grace, I feel like we're looking this up because it's going to drive me crazy. Who wrote Belladonna? Hold on. Adeline Grace. She did write Belladonna. I knew it. I knew I wasn't going crazy. So yes, Belladonna. Okay, then I grabbed The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Almentrout. This is the third book in the Blood and Ash series. The first one is From Blood and Ash. The second one is A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. And then The Crown of Gilded Bones. Not going to get into this one because it is the third book in the series, like all the rest of them. If you want to know what the series is basically about, you can read the synopsis of the first book, which is From Blood and Ash. Next, we have The Trap by Catherine Ryan Howard. Once again, this book is a tiny, tiny little thing. Let's see what it is. I think this is under 250 pages, so even smaller. That automatically, I was like, yes. A little thriller under 300 pages from the author of 56 Days. Oh yeah, that was a book about the pandemic, I think. 56 Days. An unsettling mystery inspired by a series of still unsolved disappearances in Ireland in the 90s, wherein one young woman risks everything to catch a faceless killer. 1 year ago, Lucy's sister Nikki left to meet friends at a pub in Dublin, Ireland, and never came home. The third Irish woman to vanish inexplicably in as many years, the agony of not knowing what happened that night has turned Lucy's life into a waking nightmare. So she's going to take matters into her own hands. So her sister goes missing, and I think she's going to go find her in Ireland. Or find out what happened to her. Who knows? These book covers are really pretty, though. Something about, like, the neon letters gets me every time. All right. Bag 2 down. Bag 3. Let's go. Okay. Part of the 50% off hardcover series, or hardcover sale, I should say, is The God of Endings by Jacqueline Holland. This book really caught me by surprise because I've seen the cover before, and I actually think it's really beautiful, but I literally don't know why. This cover has always intimidated me. Like, I'm sorry, this cover just looks like you have to be some, like, Victorian British scholar. Is it just me, or is this, like, intimidating as all hell? But it's about... It says, by turns suspenseful and enchanting, this astonishing first novel weaves the story of love, family, history, and myth as seen through the eyes of one immortal woman. Colette Lessange is a lonely artist who heads an elite fine art school for children in upstate New York. Her youthful beauty masks the dark truth of her life. She has endured centuries of turmoil and heartache in the wake of her grandfather's long-ago decision to make her immortal like himself. Now, in 1984, Colette finds herself upended by the arrival of a gifted child from a troubled home, the return of a stalking presence from her past, and her own mysteriously growing hunger for blood. So I think she's like, is she a vampire? A hunger for blood? Like an immortal vampire? I don't know why, like, the whole immortal thing and, like, living forever and living through different lives because she doesn't die gave me Invisible Life of Addie LaRue vibes. But I think she's a vampire. So it was 50% off, so I grabbed it finally. Okay, also 50% off was Silver Alert by Lee Smith. Another cute, adorable little tiny... I mean, like, look at the difference here. Like, it's just so cute and tiny, and these books just are so refreshing. So this book is 210 pages. I could probably finish this in one day, which I might, maybe, but it was 50% off, and I got it for $27 price. It's the same price as all the rest of these books. But $13.50 on sale. And it says, Herb's charmed life with his dear wife Susan in their Key West house is coming undone. Susan, in her 70s, now needs constant care, and Herb is in denial about his own ailing health. The one bright spot is the arrival of an endlessly optimistic manicurist calling herself Renee. She sings to Susan during manicures, gets her to paint, and brings her a much-needed sense of contentment. Then Herb and Susan's adult children arrive to stage an intervention with their stubborn, independent father, and as a consequence, Renee's gig with Susan and her grand plans for her own life start to unravel as well. Herb isn't ready to let go of all he has ever had, and it turns out that Renee is not the happy, uncomplicated girl she pretends to be. She is not even Renee. She is really Dee Dee, and she too has reasons of her own to hit the road. So when Herb suggests one last joyride in his Porsche with Dee Dee riding shotgun, they light out for parts north, setting off a silver alert. I don't know. Oh, that's right. Silver alert is when like an old person goes missing, right? I think it is. So that makes sense. Okay. Another part of the 50% off hardcover sale, I told you guys I went crazy, was Stars and Smoke by Marie Lu. Marie Lu? I believe this is about a pop star, a male pop star, who I think somehow gets involved in like a crime. I'm not sure. Let's see. A superstar, a secret agent, a once-in-a-lifetime mission. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So some sort of male pop star that somehow crosses paths with a secret agent and I think solves crimes and maybe falls in love in the process. I don't know. I know nothing about it. I love the cover. Very cute. Okay, the next book I picked up was not part of the hardcover sale. I paid full price for this, but it was in my Amazon like wish list or my Amazon list, and I saw it there. It was the last one left, so I grabbed it. This is Never Vacation with Your Ex by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. Austin Sigmund Broca wrote something else. I'm going to have to look this up too. I don't remember, but I've never heard of Emily Wibberley. But Austin Sigmund Broca, is he an actor? Sounds really familiar, but it says Sun, Sand, Second Chances. Let's see. 17-year-old volleyball star Kayla Jordan lives a life of player rankings, constant training, and a carefully curated social media full of followers watching to see if she'll go pro out of high school like her famous mom. Her one refuge and the thing she looks forward to every summer, the vacation her family spends in Malibu with the Freeman Hughes. This year, there's only one problem. Kayla and their son Dean dated for the past 3 months, and Kayla just unceremoniously dumped him. Hoping to spare them the worst summer ever, Kayla comes to Dean with an unconventional solution. She's going to walk him through her rules for getting over an ex. When Dean grudgingly cooperates, Kayla's got her work cut out for her. But helping Dean follow her own rules starts becoming difficult when the pressures of Kayla's family legacy and perfect life start to feel less like a plan and more like a prison. And amid warm California nights and stolen laughs, Kayla feels herself falling for Dean for the same reasons as before, and some new ones. With their trip coming to an end, Kayla has to make the complicated choice between doing what's expected and taking a second chance on love. I don't know why I saw this book, I put it in my Amazon cart, and then I spotted it at Barnes & Noble and said, I'm going to get it. So, Never Vacation with Your Ex. Sounds like a good plan. That would be miserable to me. Okay, this book, my 9-year-old son actually picked out for me on the buy one, get one 50% off table. He came running up to me in the store and he was like, Mom, I really think you'd like this book. Like, I just read the synopsis and I really think you'd like it. I think this is an older book, actually. It was published in, 2011. But I've never read it before. And it is by, it's by Marie Lu. Oh my gosh. It's by the same author as Stars and Smoke. What a coincidence. I didn't know that until I just looked that up. So this is Legend by Marie Lu. And he said it has something to do with, where did he see the synopsis? From different worlds, June and Day have no reason to cross paths until June's brother is murdered and Day becomes the prime suspect. In a shocking turn of events, the two uncover what has really brought them together and the sinister lengths to which their country will go to keep its secrets. So I think this is like dystopian murder mystery, and June and Day come together to solve it. I don't know. I bought it because when my son tells me he read a synopsis and he really thinks I'll like something, I take his word for it. So thanks, Coley. Okay, the next book I got was part of the 50% off sale, and this is actually another book that my 9-year-old son chose for me. This is The Exiles by Jane Harper. And it says, at a busy festival site on a warm spring night, a baby lies alone in her stroller, her mother vanishing into the crowd. A year later, Kim Gillespie's absent... If I could read, that would be fantastic. A year later, Kim Gillespie's absence casts a long shadow as her friends and loved ones gather deep in the heart of South Australian wine country to welcome a new addition to the family. Joining the celebration is a federal investigator, Aaron Falk, but as he soaks up life in the lush valley, he begins to suspect this tight-knit group may be more fractured than it seems. Between Falk's closest friend, a missing mother, and a woman he's drawn to, dark questions linger as long-ago truths begin to emerge. We see what we expect to see. 50% off, hardcover, and my son said he thought that sounded like something I'd enjoy. Had to come home with me. Okay, this book I did pay full price for. This was another book that my son threw in and was like, Mom, this sounds like something that'd be right up your alley. This is by Anne Bishop. It's called The Queen's Price. And first of all, this is a beautiful cover. It's a thick book. And it says, enter the dark and sensual realms of the Black Jewels in this sweeping story of 3 young women who must navigate life within the powerful Sa Diablo family and come to terms with Witch, the queen who is still the heart and will of that family. Maybe another like little mob type family story with queens. So, yeah, mob family. Okay, this was another one of the books that I got like for the buy one get one 50. Obviously have to buy them in pairs. This is a book I've been kind of spying on for a while because it's by Leigh Bardugo, who wrote the Shadow and Bone series and the Six of Crows series. This is, I think, one of her newer series. This is the first book in it. There's King of Scars, and then I think the second one is called Rule of Wolves, I believe. But I just wanted to grab this one first, and it's in the paperback now. When it first came out and I first saw it, it was only in hardcover. What is that? Oh, well, in the middle, yes. The Witch in the Wood. Once again, on purpose, go into this stuff blind. Don't really know what it's about, but it says, face your demons or feed them. The boy king, the war hero, the prince with a demon curled inside his heart, Nikolai Lantsov, has always had a gift for the impossible, yet with each day, a dark magic within him grows stronger, threatening to destroy all he has built. His country is Nikolai's first love, and whatever it demands, he will give. Zoya Nazyalensky has devoted her life to honing her deadly talents and rebuilding the Grisha army. The Grisha? What's the Grishaverse? Isn't that Six of Crows? I think Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows are the Grishaverse. So this is kind of interconnected as well. Interesting. Devoted her life to honing her deadly talents and rebuilding the Grisha army. Despite their magical gifts, Zoya knows the Grisha cannot survive without Rakva. And Rakva cannot survive a weakened king. Zoya will stop at nothing to help Nikolai secure the throne, but she also has new enemies to conquer in the battle to come. I have a question. Do you need to read Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows to understand this? Because they're talking about the characters. Who's Rakva? What is Rakva? Is that a land? Is that a person? So, for anyone who's read a lot of Leigh Bardugo, can you tell me below if I'm supposed to read... I know Shadow and Bone comes before Six of Crows, but do I have to read that series, either of those series, or both, to understand King of Scars? I guess I'd figure it out if I read it, but enter the Grishaverse, yeah. So, tell me what I should do. Third bag. Down. Fourth bag. Let's go. You can do this. Alright, let's go here first. These are 2 more, but they're little bags. I hate when they run out of the big bags. Okay. Sisters of Sword and Song by Miss Rebecca Ross. I grabbed this solely because this is Rebecca Ross. I did read Divine Rivals by her, and then after I read that and I really, really enjoyed it, it was not a 5-star read for me, but I do have the second one pre-ordered. And the way it ends, I'm really excited to see how it picks up. It was, I believe, a 4.5-star read. It just got a little slow in the middle, but I picked up not only pre-ordering the second book in the Divine Rivals series, but I also picked up A River Enchanted. I got it in the Fairy Loot edition. And then I saw that she had written Sisters of Sword and Song, and I believe this comes beforehand. I believe this is one of her older works. And I found this in the YA section, so I guess this is YA, but it says, after 8 years, Avadna will finally be reunited with her older sister Halcyon, who has been serving in the Queen's army. But when Halcyon returns a day early, Eva immediately knows if something is wrong. Halcyon is on the run after being charged with murder, though her life is spared during trial. The punishment is heavy: 5 years hard labor, 5 years imprisonment, and 5 years serving the house she has wronged. To absolve her sister, Eva volunteers to serve the army commander's house in Halcyon's stead, in the hopes of uncovering the truths behind her alleged crime. But as the sisters begin their sentences, they quickly learn that there are fates much worse than death. So, Rebecca Ross, I really like her writing. Okay, this we're going to actually talk about in a minute. Okay. The next book I got is kind of random. This was another book that popped up on my Amazon suggested, and I'd actually never heard of it. I've never heard of anybody talking about it either. Like, is this a thing that I just haven't heard of? But I grabbed it, and it also is very similar to the new reprint of Brandon Sanderson. It is similar in like form to Brandy Sandy's new Mistborn prints that are like super floppy paperbacks. Look at this thing. Super floppy. And I really like that. So this is Cushiels Dart by Jacqueline Carey. I got the first one, which is Cushiels Dart. What the heck? Oh. And Cushiels Chosen, which is the second. These are pretty thick books, and it has a sticker stuck to it. This was not 30% off. Interesting. Okay. So Cushiels Chosen and Cushiels Dart. This is number 1 and this is number 2. I'm not going to read the synopsis of the second in case it gives something away, but it says, Terra d'Ange, a place of unsurpassed beauty and grace. It is said that those who dwell there are formed from the seed of angels and men, and all live by one simple rule: love as thou wilt. Phaedra No Delani is a young woman with a unique gift. Pricked by Cushiels Dart, she is bound to experience pain and pleasure as one. Trained in espionage and the arts of the bedchamber, she is able to observe and analyze her clients in the throes of passion and learn their darkest secrets. One liaison reveals a plot that threatens the very foundation of Terra d'Ange. Treachery sets her on her path. Love and honor guide her further. It will take her to the edge of despair and beyond. And I have to tell you, not only is this book over 600 pages, but the print in here is super tiny. And when I actually got home and like flipped this open, first of all, there is a map, so instant points. But look at this. These pages, I don't know if you could see this, but all of this is a key of characters. There are 4 pages of characters. 4 pages of just names and descriptions of characters. And now I'm like, are there 350 characters in this book? Like, am I ever going to understand this? But it has decent reviews, so I think I'll give it a try. And I do have the second one. So, Jacqueline Carey, girl, good for you. I mean, the imagination on these authors, man. All right. This next one, I'm going to need everyone in the fandom to not get upset with me. But I am here to admit that I have never in my life read a Hunger Games book. And in fact, I have only in my life seen the first Hunger Games movie. The Hunger Games, I was a Harry Potter generation. Hunger Games came out after, and I had kind of already become obsessed with Harry Potter. I kind of never pivoted to the Hunger Games. That came out when I was a little bit, I think just a little bit too old. But I do want to remedy that, and I do want to read the Hunger Games, and the Hunger Games is on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm going to read the whole Hunger Games series and then go into the new release, which is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. It was on, despite being a new release, it was on the buy one, get one 50% off table. So I really just wanted to grab it. And maybe if I do become like obsessed with the Hunger Games, I will end up buying the other ones, but who knows? I know this is the prequel, and I think this tells, what's he, Governor Snow? Is that what he is? President Snow? I haven't read it, but it's the prequel to Katniss, I believe, or at least like when Katniss is a little girl. So this is the prequel that just came out. Okay. Last bag. Okay. Buy one, get one 50% off table strikes again and gets me. This is, I've never seen anyone talking about this. I actually don't even know. Is this a new release? 2019. No. So it's called Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman. I think I talked about this in another video I did, but I'm literally obsessed with sharks. Love them. Great white shark is my favorite animal of all time. Shark Week's my favorite week of the year for TV. I very rarely watch TV, but you will catch me for 7 days during Shark Week on Discovery and for 7 days during Shark Fest on Nat Geo, just glued to the TV. Just, it's all that plays in my house for 2 straight weeks. I DVR them all. I'm even the freak that bought the past year's Shark Weeks on DVD, so I own them. And this is called Something in the Water. And it says, Aaron is a documentary filmmaker on the brink of a professional breakthrough. Mark, a handsome investment banker with big plans, passionately in love, they embark on a dream honeymoon to the tropical island of Bora Bora, where they enjoy the sun, the sand, and each other. Then, while scuba diving in the crystal blue sea, they find something in the water. And just the insinuation that that maybe possibly could be a shark, sold. It's mine. It's got to come home with me. And if it doesn't end up being a shark, I may be a little upset. But they find something in the water. There's a possibility that it's a shark. So I'm in it. I'm good with it. So, okay, next on the buy one, get one 50% off is Elena Armis's The American Roommate Experiment. Everyone talks about this book. I'm going to be shocked if you haven't heard of it, but I have never read an Elena Armis, and I've heard that this one is really good. I believe, let's see, sometimes love just needs a little inspiration. Rosie Graham has a problem, a few actually. She just quit her well-paid job to focus on her new secret career as a romance writer, only to enter a creative slump. Then the ceiling of her New York apartment literally crumbles on her. Jeez. She heads to her best friend Lena's empty apartment, not knowing that Lena has already lent the studio to her cousin Lucas, who Rosie has been stalking, for lack of a better word, on Instagram. To Rosie's surprise, Lucas offers to let her stay with him, at least until she can find some affordable temporary housing. So I think that's like a forced proximity, roommate's best friend's brother? Wait, what did I say? Best friend's cousin? Best friend's cousin? So that's cool. Elena Armis wrote The Spanish Love Deception. I have not read it. I've seen like 50-50 ratings on that book. Some people love it and some people despise it. But I think I've only seen good things about this book. So excited to pick that one up. Next, I got The Book of Night by Holly Black, the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. And it is the paperback. I didn't even know this came out in paperback. I have The Book of Night I forget whether it's the Fairy Loot or the Illumicrate edition, but this is the paperback, which is so exciting. Even your shadow can be stolen, Miss Holly Black. Okay, buy one, get one 50% off. It says, there'd always been something wrong with Charlie Hall. Had fingers made... What? Oh, that's interesting sentence structure. There'd always been something wrong with Charlie Hall. Had fingers made for picking pockets, a tongue for lying, and a shriveled cherry pit for a heart. If her shadow had been one of those magic ones, she was pretty sure even that thing would have run away. Interesting. I've once again seen 50-50 reviews. Some people really, really loved this. And Holly Black's writing in general is kind of hit or miss, and some people didn't care for it. I am going to expose myself and be so for real with you guys right now. Holly Black is also the writer of the Cruel Prince series, the Folk of the Air trilogy. I read Cruel Prince, and there's a whole story I'm going to go into about that on my next video, so I'm not going to give it away, but I mistakenly read The Cruel Prince and hated it. Hated it. I was so painfully bored until the last like 40 pages of that book. I didn't particularly love the writing. I hated the male main character. Didn't understand. That is not a love story. For anyone who tries to falsely sell that to you as a love story, it isn't. So I have the rest of that series. It's like The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing, but I never moved on because I just so intensely disliked The Cruel Prince. And this is by the same author, so I'm intrigued to see if this is just like an author's writing, storytelling, her style that I don't like, or if it was just the storyline specifically from The Cruel Prince. So I'm excited to read this and see what I think. We're getting down to the end here, guys. Okay. The next book I bought, actually, it's on the buy one get one 50% off table. It was called Make Me by Tessa Bailey. And I had never heard of this. I love Tessa Bailey's writing. I have never heard of this book before. And imagine, I'm trying to look when it was published. Is this old or no? 2015. So it's old. I've never heard of it. It was how is there a Tessa Bailey book I haven't heard of? And imagine my surprise when I purchase it, go out to the car, look it up, and find out this is the third in a series. I think it's called like Broke and Beautiful. Yeah, the Broke and Beautiful series by Tessa Bailey. Who has read this? Is this good? It's the third book in the series. So even though I didn't know that, and I read the back in Barnes & Noble, I don't want to read it because unknowingly, maybe it does give away some details from the first and the second one, but a book I hadn't heard of and a series I haven't heard of from Tessa Bailey, and it was buy one get one 50, and I needed my last book to make it even, so picked it up. All right, now this is actually this is the last books in the haul, but this is actually kind of a funny story. So on Goodreads, I love to scroll through and see what other people are reading. And this book by Laini Taylor called Strange the Dreamer kept popping up on my Goodreads, and people were saying that they loved it. And if it's like a new fantasy series, like I'm in. So I go into Barnes & Noble looking for this book. I find it, and imagine my surprise when I read the back. And it's like I'm not going to read it because I don't want to give anything away. I don't think it did, but whatever. I'm reading the back, and it's like heavily implying and speaking about the characters in this book. Like you should already know, like, oh, it picks up where the last one ended. And I was like, the last one? What? There's a last one. And I look, and sure enough, there's no other books in this particular series. So I'm like, what does it mean? The last one. And then I find out there's a whole series that was written, I believe it was, it's trilogy. There was a whole trilogy written before this that deals in the same universe with the same characters. And when I was there, Barnes & Noble happened to have all three of them. So somehow I go in for this book and walk out with her complete works. At least I think this is her complete works. The complete universe. So let's go in order. This is The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is the first book in the series. What is it? I think it's called the Smoke and Bone series. The Smoke and Bone saga that then leads into Strange the Dreamer. So, Smoke and Bone, Daughter of Smoke and Bone, it says, once upon a time an angel and a devil fell in love. It did not end well. Around the world, black handprints are appearing on doorways, scorched there by winged strangers who have crept through a slit in the sky, and in the tangled lanes of Prague, a young art student named Karu is about to be caught up in a brutal otherworldly war. When a strange, beautiful, haunted Akiva fixes his fire-colored eyes on her, the result is a star-crossed love whose roots drink deep of a violent past. From master storyteller Laini Taylor comes a sweeping and gorgeously written modern fantasy about a forbidden love, an ancient and epic battle, and a hope for a world remade. So it goes Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Dreams of Gods and Monsters. This is the second book in the series. Beautiful covers. I mean, look at these. They really are pretty. So Dreams of Gods and Monsters, and then the third one is Days of Blood and Starlight. So this is the 3 for the trilogy in this series. And then you go into Strange the Dreamer, which I believe is like an adjacent story to Daughter of Smoke and Bone saga. So I'm not going to read the back of this because that's kind of like the back is how I figured out that there was something else going on in this series. So that's it. Okay, it is officially the next day and I am back because it was endlessly bothering me that I had parts of series and didn't have the rest of the books. So I went back. So let's go ahead and throw these in there and I'll talk about why in a second. So the first book I got that was a part of the 50% off sale. Actually, let's do these together. Oh geez. All right. So the part that was part of the 50% off sale is actually the second book. It was One of Us is Next by Karen McManus. This is the second book in this little series, but it was the only one that was part of the 50% off sale. However, I found the first book in paperback, which is One of Us is Lying, on the buy one get one 50% off table. So I grabbed both of these I believe this one is about kids in detention, and I believe there's 5 of them. Yeah, on Monday afternoon, 5 students at Bayview High walk into detention, and only one of them makes it out, I think. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. Only 4 of them make it out. Before the end of detention, Simon's dead. So, I guess you got to figure out, like, who did it. I don't know what would happen in the second one, but I'm not going to read it because I don't want to ruin anything. So I got those 2. Then this was kind of an impulse purchase just because the cover was so cute. This is part of the 50% off sale. It's called Begin Again by Emma Lord. This is by the author of Tweet Cute, which I do have. It's a cute little like rom-com. So I grabbed this. I have no idea what it's about, but it says, as usual, Andy Rose has a plan. Transfer from community college to the competitive Blue Ridge State, major in psychology, and become an iconic self-help figure despite the nerves that have recently thrown her. All it will take is ruthless organization, hard work, and her trademark unrelenting enthusiasm to pull it together. But the moment Andy arrives, her plans go off the rails. But sometimes when your plans are in rubble at your feet, you find out what you're made of. Filled with a friend group that feels like family, Andy's empowering journey to find her own way and a just kiss already romance. I was like, what the heck does that mean? Begin Again is an unforgettable novel of love and starting again. So, once again, no idea what it's about, but cute cover, 50% off. Then, we're going to wait on that. Okay. I also grabbed Song of Silver Flame Like Night. This was on the 50% off table, and I actually grabbed this. I already own it, but I own the Fairy Loot edition, so hold please. Let me grab that so I can explain. Okay. So this is Song of Silver Flame and Night, the Fairy Loot edition. I do own this one. You can kind of see a little bit of difference. Right off the start, they're different sizes. This one's like a mini version. But this is the Fairy Loot edition. It's absolutely stunning. Look at those edges. Can you see those? How beautiful is that? So this is, actually I think, yeah, hold on, let me show you the actual book because this is also beautiful. So this is what the actual naked book looks like, with the gorgeous signed cover art, inside cover. Same on the inside, but I do have this one, but I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of the Fairy Loot books, especially the ones that are this stunningly beautiful, like some of them are, they're still pretty and they're still collector's editions and they're still signed, but like some are prettier than others, right? Like some to me are plain, and then there's ones that are super detailed like this one that I just don't want to get damaged. And I don't always love reading all of them. And this is one that I've kind of been thinking I'm gonna just let be a collector's edition like on my shelf. So if I'm going to just do that, I want to grab the regular edition so that I can actually read this stunningly beautiful book. So I wanted to grab this so I didn't have to dig into my Fairy Loot edition. So it says, once Lan had a different name, now she goes by the one the Atlantean colonizers gave her when they invaded her kingdom, killed her mother, and outlawed her people's magic. She spends her nights as a song girl in Hak Gong. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Correct me below, like give me a pronunciation if I'm not. A city transformed by the conquerors, and her days scavenging for what she can find for the past. Anything to understand the strange mark burned into her arm by her mother in her last act before she died. Zen is a practitioner, one of the fabled magicians of the last kingdom. Their magic was rumored to have been drawn from the dragons they communed with. Magic believed to be long lost. Now it must be hidden from the Atlanteans at all costs. But when Zen comes across Lan, he recognizes what she is, a practitioner with a powerful ability hidden in the mark on her arm. Both Lan and Zen have secrets buried deep within, secrets they must hide from others, and secrets that they themselves have yet to discover. So I was really wanting to read this. It was in the 50% off sale. I want to read the book, and I was going to read the Fairy Loot edition, but when I saw that this was 50% off, so it ended up being $10, I was like, might as well leave my collector's signed Fairy Loot edition to be decorative, shelf, and preserved well, and not have to, like, you know, open the cover, break the spine, turn the pages too much. Might as well pick it up for $10 and just read this. So got that. And then, let's see. Oh, there's the one. This right here was, once again, just because I saw it on the shelf. This is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. This is book 2 in the last hours of the Shadowhunters collection. This is a massive collection that I'm super intimidated by, but I can't wait to get into. I forget how many books there is with the novellas. Over 20. I believe it's 21. I will insert the correct answer here, but there is over 20 books in this entire series. It's massive. I've heard amazing things about it. I do own the full Mortal Instruments, books 1 through 6, and then I own a couple of the novellas, which are over here, that are to be read in between, and then I do own the Infernal Devices, I think, which come next. However, this was beautiful, and it was the hardcover on sale for 50% off. This is the last hours section of Shadowhunters book 2. So I just scooped it up because it was the last one on the shelves and it was 50% off. These books retail for $25. So I got this gorgeous hardcover edition for $12.50, and I thought that was a really good purchase. It's probably not going to match the rest of the series when I get it now, but that's okay. I'm all right with it. So picked up that, just impulse purchase. Okay. And now these are the reason that I actually went back. Remember I said yesterday when I did the actual big haul that I accidentally bought the Tessa Bailey book that I found out was the 3rd in the series. I thought it was just like a standalone Tessa Bailey that I had never heard of. And when I did my haul, I looked it up and I found out that it's actually book 3 in a 3-book trilogy. And that just did not sit well in my soul with my OCD. So I went back today to see if I could get the other 2, and wouldn't you know it, book 1, which is right here, this is Choose Me by Tessa Bailey, a broken beautiful novel, book 1, was on the buy one get one 50% off table. How is that possible? I've never seen this book. These are older, so are they pulling like a Lucy Score, and are they redoing, like, did she get picked up by a new publisher and they're like redoing her covers? Because how was this published years ago? It's a Tessa Bailey. I should have heard about it, and I never have. I've certainly never seen this cover before. So what I'm assuming they did is they're putting new covers on the older series. So this is book 1. It's called Chase Me in the series. College dropout Roxy Cumberland moved to New York with dreams of becoming an actress, but her dwindling bank account is quickly putting the kibosh on that fantasy. To make some quick cash, she signs up to perform singing telegrams. Her first customer is a gorgeous, cocky Manhattan trust funder, if she ever laid eyes on one. And what could be more humiliating than singing an ode to his junk, courtesy of his recent one-night stand? Oh no. Oh God, Roxy, girl. You got yourself in a pickle. Now, maybe the fact that she's dressed in a giant pink bunny costume. Tessa Bailey is so good at writing these like comedic moments. I do really like her writing, and I go through it really quick when I read her stuff because it's effortless, it's funny, it's just lighthearted. So this is the first book. And then I picked up Need Me. This is the second book in the Broken Beautiful novel series. And then it goes with the third book, which is Make Me, that I bought yesterday, not realizing. So I have all 3 of the series now in the new covers. So back to you. Back to the future. No. Back to the past? Whatever. Past, Lindsay. Take it away for the outro. All right. That's everything. I went, like I said, kind of crazy, but they're going to make excellent addition to my books. I love to read. I have been reading more, and buying books is what makes me happy. So I think I do have to kind of make it a priority to make a little bit of a dent in my collection because it is crazy as I like it to be. But that is all, guys. Please leave me a comment below and tell me which of these books was your favorite, if you read them, or if you haven't read any of them, which is the one that you would pick up first. So Until then, please do all the YouTubey things, like, comment, subscribe, and if you're feeling really generous, switch on that notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.